My name is Ben Allen, and as I prepare to tell you this story tonight about what I have learned about a community of trust, two words echoed through my mind: humility and vulnerability. And I tell you those two words now just because I'm about to tell you an adventure of tales that may seem disjointed, but I promise I will relate them back to those two themes. I think it makes the most sense to start with my current job, a job that I believe I am woefully unprepared for, a job that I had no formal training for, and actually when I took the job, there was no guidebook or anything to it. And President Ryan, I'm not talking about my current job as the executive director of the UVA Equity Center, or even an intelligence analyst at the 2300 Military Intelligence Group. I'm talking about my job as a father. There is nothing more humbling and nothing that causes more vulnerability than that of being a dad. I think it starts fascinating enough with my son Eli when he was born. My wife and I thought we had crushed it. We thought that people told us that we had an easy baby. When he was born, he slept like clockwork. He ate when he was supposed to. I still remember one of our friends gave us a gift certificate to a downtown restaurant, and we took him downtown, and he sat there and smiled and cooed and laughed while we ate there and enjoyed our meal for hours. We thought we had won the lottery with babies. As a matter of fact, we would say to each other slyly, I don't know why people think parenting is so hard. We got this. And then my daughter Sophie was born, and she quickly humbled us. Now keep in mind, Eli wasn't a scheduled induction. I never would have thought that within a given time frame, you can literally schedule your child's birth. We walked into the hospital that morning at 7 a.m. and said, hey, we're the Allens, we're here to have our baby. And they said, well, right this way. They took us up to our room, and we got there. I even remember taking calls that day for work. And keep in mind, this is the male perspective. Taking calls from work. We went through, the nurses came in, the doctors, it was a scheduled routine. There was a birth playlist of John Legend and Dave Matthews. And later that night, our son Eli was born. And so for Sophie's birth, our second child, we thought, why would it not be the same? We scheduled her induction for August 10th, and we went on with our plans for that summer. The morning of August 3rd, I woke up, and all of a sudden I noticed my wife was not in the bed. Not too abnormal. I went downstairs to check on her, and she was on the couch. I said, honey, what are you doing? She was looking at the clock on the TV, and she was trying to time her contractions with the clock as it was ticking on the TV screensaver. I said, well, maybe we should go upstairs and lay down. And like any good husband with sound medical advice, I gave my 37-week pregnant wife the advice that, hey, honey, take a shower and have some water. It'll be fine. After she gets out of the shower, I am trying to talk to her, just make sure everything's okay, and she can physically not talk to me. So I call labor and delivery. I explained to them the situation. They said, you need to get here now. Now? Yes, now. I called our friends across the street. That was our plan A, to come over and watch our son Eli, who at the time was about 2 years old, who was sleeping peacefully. They didn't answer the phone. I call our second plan, plan B. Now keep in mind this is a week earlier. That couple was now on vacation, and so they were out of town. So I'm literally staring at my wife, who is asking me why I'm not going fast enough, and then staring at my sleeping son and saying, well, I guess you're going to come with us. Luckily, I was able to go to Plan C, and we were able to get our friend to come while we rushed to the hospital. I rushed into the car, get my wife in there. We live just off of Fish Street. And now as we're going down Fish Street, if you go through Fry Springs and Azalea Park, I'm taking the turns like Dale Earnhardt Jr. My wife is going, go, 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 faster. And as I'm going faster, she's like, no, slow down. And we come to literally a screeching halt outside of the UVA hospital. Go to the front doors and let her out. The doors are locked. This is still in the height of COVID. So my wife goes, brushes me off, and says, I'm going to go to the emergency room door. It's a block away. I drive ahead to alert them. They get the wheelchairs. The attendees come out, and they get her in the chair to go forward. I go and park the car. I come back. They whisk me upstairs. She's already hooked up to all the machines. The doctor comes in and does his check. As he does his check, he goes, oh, she's going to come here soon. What's soon? I'm thinking 3-4 hours, 15 minutes. My wife looks at the nurses and goes, oh, what about my epidural? Oh, honey, we're too close for the epidural. The nurse chimes in and goes, the only thing that you can do is to have this baby. You are so strong, so strong. And this is at the moment when I really realize, and it's a quite humbling moment, that men in this situation are truly worthless. Because all I could do was hold her hand and say, honey, yes, you are strong, so strong. Sophia, we left our house at 4:34 a.m. Sophia was born at 5:05 a.m. There is nothing more important that I realize in that community of trusting the doctors, of trusting the nurses, of trusting that we were in the best care. I'm truly humbled by the fact that we live close enough to one of the best healthcare systems in the world, that I had a car that worked, that got us there, that I had health insurance, that I had a cell phone, that I had all these things that came together to bring forward the birth of my second child. I know that many are not as fortunate and that the system is so vulnerable. Vulnerability. Vulnerability has not always been something I've been good at. It is something that is truly, at the core of it, nothing that is in my fabric. You see, I grew up a black male here, right in Charlottesville, Virginia, in the South. I had a childhood where proper emotional responses was not something that was fostered. The biggest influence in my life in a positive way was my grandfather, who was an old Marine who was tough as nails. Literally, I once saw a nail go through his hand and the man did not flinch. I'm a soldier in the U.S. Army. None of those things are a recipe for vulnerability. But I believe through our kids, we want the best for them, and we want a community to be around them that we are grateful for. And I believe that you cannot be vulnerable in a place that is without trust. And we also know that trust matters, and that this place matters. It is not lost on me that when I was a second year here at the University of Virginia, I used to go on runs at night, and they were angry runs because of the stress of the world was around me. And I would start at my apartment on Wortland Street, and I would run down around grounds, and I would sit right here on these steps, and I would put my hands on my head, and I would bawl, crying, because I felt so alone in a place where I felt seen as so extroverted, seen as having so many friends. And I would sit here, I would work 40 hours a week at Mincer's, taking 19 credits, thinking that no one cared and no one knew the struggles. But what I've realized in this time is place is so important that on those same steps, I asked my wife to marry me, who is the anchor of my community of trust. And the night before my first child, Eli, was born, my wife and I, and our dog Rugby, yes, named after Rugby Road, came to those steps and took a picture of our last night as our family of three. I say all these things because as I look back at my life and I look at what brought me even to this stage tonight, it is truly the community of the people around us, our friends, our colleagues, and this idea that we have this humility to open ourselves up and allow ourselves to be vulnerable, to let others in. I am so grateful for this opportunity, and for that I am truly humbled. Thank you.